Then, listen carefully, boss. Every S object we have created. What is an S object? What is S object? What is an S object? Look at the point. Salesforce object. Any object created in the database of the Salesforce is called S object. S object can be a standard object or every S object in the database has equivalent Apex class. Every S object in the database has equivalent Apex class. Now let us say S object. You have account S object. We have account class. Contact S object. Contact class. Opportunity, because if you want to refer to anything in the Apex, it has to be a class. If you want to refer to anything in the programming, anything that we refer in the Apex programming will be a class. I cannot refer to a account table. If I want to write a program in the Apex, it has to be a class. There is a reason for account table. Internally, they created one account class. For a contact table, they internally created one contact class. Opportunity table, opportunity class. Customer table, so every S object has equivalent Apex class. Every S object has equivalent class. Now look at this. Account object. In account object, what we have? Let us say every field that we have in account will be referred as a variable. Name, phone, industry, rating. Like this, we have a fields in the account object. This is account table. These are the fields in the table. Now, equivalent Apex class. Or the Apex class is public class account What was that? This is the account object. These are the corresponding fields in the object. So every field will be defined like a variable in the class. Who defined this? Salesforce has already defined. You did not define it again. Every S object in the Salesforce has equivalent Apex class. Now, if I want to refer to that object, I have to refer to this Apex class, because in the Apex, everything we are going to refer like a class. So if you want to refer to a object account, we need to use corresponding account class. So any table in the database is referred in the corresponding Apex programming with a class. Every object in the database is referred in the Apex programming with the corresponding Apex class. Every object has equivalent Apex class. Every object has equivalent Apex class, which is referred in the VF page, which is referred in the Apex programming with the corresponding S object. Now here I am giving, now you are going to enter the data. Generally what we do, I have a form. I have a form where I am entering the data. Generally, in the form we are entering the data. When I enter the data, does it mean that data is already saved to database? We just entered in the form. Only when you click on insert, the data will be saved to database. Now this is how we are entering the data in the form. The same, if you want to create using Apex programming, how do you create? This is how we are creating. We got input text box and we are creating the data like this. Then how you create? Account ACC equal to now, if you want to refer to Apex class, how do you refer? By creating an object. If you want to use an Apex class, what will I do? Create an object. Account ACC equal to new account, name equal to the same thing what I given here. This is what I created. So both are same. In the table, if you want to enter the record, what I will do? Click on new. We are going to enter the name, phone, like that we are entering. Same thing using the Apex. If you want to create, how do you create? Account class. How do you refer? ACC is a variable of type what? Account. ACC is a variable of type account, referring to the properties of the account class. In account class, what we have? Every field in the account object is taken as a variable in the account class. So ACC.name, phone, industry, rating. I hope you are clear. Am I clear with this? So every S object in the database has equivalent Apex class. If you want to refer to any table in the database in the Apex programming, we are supposed to refer with the corresponding S object. Corresponding S object. Okay, what is that S object? It is referring to the table. Now every S object has equivalent Apex class. So table in the programming is called S object. If you want to refer to that S object, we are supposed to refer to the corresponding Apex class. People are good with this example? People have followed? Followed? Am I clear? So from now on, in the Apex programming, how are you going to refer to a table? By using corresponding Apex class. Let us do some examples. create a instance of contact. Let me give instance of an account. Now there are three ways in which I can create. What is the three way? Process 1, account ACC equal to process. New account name equal to, this is only for Sobject Sama. This process is only for Sobject. If you are referring to a table, field equal to process 3. In the process 3, account ACC equal to any one I can prefer. Generally, we will be taking first process. ACC dot put name of the field, phone, the third one is when you want to make a generic programming, when you are not sure which field you are going to get, when you are not sure which value you are going to get, then I am going to take. If you are sure which field I am going to get, I will write ACC dot field name. I am not sure which field I am going to get. Depends upon the field what you selected, I have to insert the value. Now, if I know I have to insert name phone, I will do it. The first process or second process. When I am not sure, which field you are going to enter, then I will be doing. Let me give an example to understand this. So, when do you go to third process? Just to understand, I will give a quick example here. I have a VF page like this. Suppose if I have a requirement like this, I have a requirement like this. Now, I am not sure which field you are going to enter. I am asking you to enter one field name of the object. You selected name. You selected some X field and you entered some 1, 2, 3. You selected some Y field. Now, are you sure every time you enter name XYZ only? No. If you are sure every time you are entering name XYZ, then what I will do? A dot name, A dot X, A dot Y. But in this case, I am not sure which field you are going to enter. You may enter name, somebody may enter phone, somebody may enter rating. Then I will go for generic programming. Then what I will do? Account ACC equal to. So let us say this is stored in a variable. This is stored in a variable called field 1. Then how do you insert? ACC dot put field 1 Are you getting my point? So third process is used when you are forming or inserting the data generically. That means you are not sure which fields you are going to select. Dynamic way. You are not sure which field you are going to select. You are not sure what value you are going to get. So it is random. Then I will go for the third process. Right? Generally, what is the process we use? First process. Generally, what is the process we use? First process. Sometimes second process. If there are 50 fields, will I use this? If there are 50 fields, will I use this? I will not use this because it become lengthy. Right? So I'll be generally this is the format which everybody will be using. This is for what? A dynamic insertion. Generically, we want to set the data. I will go for this. I hope you are clear. Clear for everyone? Clear, boss? Right? Followed? People have followed this? Right.
Satish, I have a question.
Yeah.
So acc.put name, comma, string. Is that how we'll give?
It is a
Field name is name and string.
field name is always a string. There is no other option. Is there any other option for field name? Field name is always a string. Value
Yes.
is
So
always
then,
a string. Hold for a minute. Value is always a string. Value of a field is always a string.
yes.
Right? Annual, if I want to enter the amount, will it be a string?
No, it would be a
If I
number or
take a
decimal.
date, will it be a string? No.
No.
It's not going to be a string. So what is going to be? Object. What it is going to
Okay.
be? Object. Object means what? It can accept any type. Object
Any
means
type.
what?
Okay.
It can take any type. So if it is,
Any
let
type.
us say, if it is amount, then I might have written if it is a Boolean value,
Okay.
so value of the field is not always string.
Okay.
Value of the field is not always string. Right?
Okay.
Value of the field is not always string. We can enter whatever the corresponding data is there. If it is a string, it will be in single quote, otherwise straight away execute. People have followed
Okay.
this? Right, boss? Okay.
That
Let us go to the,
y-
wait for a minute, let me give the exercise, not interrupt in between. Let me give an exercise, you can ask me. Then create contact with corresponding fields. What are the fields we have? Tell me some of the fields in the contact. Last name, first name, stage name is what? Pick list. What are the options we have in the stage name? Prospecting, closed won, closed lost. Type is what? New customer, existing customer. Stage name is a pick list. Closed date is okay. Type is also a pick list. Create in all the three formats. Create these 4 examples in all the 3 ways. Create these 4 examples in all the 3 ways. Yeah. Now go ahead. Someone from online asking a question. Go ahead.
Sir, don't we have the setter methods?
Pardon me. See,
Setter methods.
you are trying to write a program in the Apex class and trying to print the value in the Visual Force page, then the setter and getter will come. Every variable will not have a setter and getter. Why did I take a setter getter? Previously, it's a program to take the data from VF page, Apex class, and display it. Now, are we taking the data from VF page and displaying here now? Sorry. Are we taking the data from Apex class and displaying? No. I'm just creating a record. Every variable will not have setter and getter. Only if that variable you want to display in the VF page, we will write setter and getter. If you are not displaying that variable in the Visual Force page, no need of writing a setter and getter. It is not necessary that every variable will have setter and getter. When do you go for set and get? If you are writing a Apex class, the variables in the Apex class, if you want to display in the VF, then I will go for set and get. If you want to display this variable in the VF, obviously I will write set and get. If you don't want to display, no set and get. Set and get is coming only when you want to refer that variable from the Apex class in the VF page. If there is no concept of VF page, why you go for set and get? Okay, now you want to display same variable in the VF page, obviously I have to go for set and get. Right? Did you get my point? The set and get will come only if you are trying to display this variable in the VF page. If you don't have a concept of VF here, obviously there is no concept of set and get. Got it, boss? Am I clear?
But are we not going to display this account object in the VF page?
Right now I am writing a simple code to how to create an account. Where is the question of Apex class and Visual Force here? What did I give? I am asking you to simply create a contact. We are writing a snippet of the code. Right? When I create a class with this as a variable, then we get a concept of set and get. Do you get my point? Is it a class?
Okay,
It is not a class, right? We are just simply showing how to create an account record. It is only a snippet of the code. Right. Any other queries, Amma? So what we are writing here is not a program, only a small code. Part of the code we are writing. When you make a complete implementation, you need to compare the code. We are only writing a snippet. How to create a contact in the programming. How to create an opportunity in the programming. We are only creating a snippet of the code. Any other queries from anyone? Everyone make an attempt. It's very important.
Hello, Satish.
Yes.
Sir, if we have a code which is not working, we need some help in troubleshooting. To whom we can reach out?
We can just post it in the community. Post it in the community. Satish Mala notes.
You mean FB community or like a
Yeah, exactly.
mail?
Exactly. FB community.
Okay.
Do we have a Facebook page or a community?
It's a community account.
May I know the name so that I can join too?
Satish Maila Notes.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, one more question. Like these contact, opportunity, customer, and loaner, Salesforce defined objects, right? So
Yes.
do we need to remember these to
Obviously.
make it easy? Okay. Okay, thank you.
So the put method is used when we want to assign record dynamically.
Yes.
Okay, so for this code and for this example, in order to build the understanding, you have given the constant values, but when we move forward, we will assign the dynamic values from the pages.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
okay.
You will have done this, boss. So how you create this? Now why you are taking salary underscore underscore C? It is a custom field. Standard object, but field is custom. What is the second process? Last time you put. You can write the remaining fields. Third one, contact C1 equal to Right, boss? This is how we are writing. So let me create the custom object fields at the end. How do you create this? Because it's a custom object. And the custom object, custom field. I hope you are good with this. This is how we have created, right? Everyone is good with this format? So we are creating an instance of a subject. Is this record inserted into database? Record is not inserted, just we entered. Only when you click on save, record will be saved to database. We only created the record but not saved. We only entered the data in the form. We have not saved it. If you want to save it, we need to go for DML operation. If you want to save it, we need to go for DML operation. Now, look at the format. I want to refer this data in the VF page. I hope everyone has followed these formats, right? Okay. Now, public account. Now, what is that ACC? It is a variable of what type? Account. Account is a data type here. ACC is a variable. What is that account? It is a standard Apex class created by the Salesforce. Account is a standard Apex class created by the Salesforce. ACC is a variable. That account class is referring to what? Account table. Account class is referring to what? Account table. Did you assign any value for ACC? We assigned ACC equal to account. If you don't assign the value, what is the value of ACC? Null. If you don't assign the memory, what is the value of CON? Null. Without assigning the memory, if I give CON dot last name, it says null dot last name. If I don't assign the memory, what is the value of CON? Null. If you don't assign the memory, suppose if I have not given this. Now what I am referring to? Null dot last name, which is an error. So what I was supposed to do? If I want to refer to any variable. First you are supposed to say number one. Let me give you an example here. Any query about this program till here? Everyone is good, right? Clear for everyone, right? Okay. Please block. Here I am giving apex output text value equal to, what is the variable we have? ACC is a variable referring to a record. ACC dot, in ACC we have a name. Name, phone, industry. Now we are referring to a record. ACC is one of the instance of a table. In the table, each record is one instance. So ACC is what? One instance, right? Account ACC, ACC dot name, ACC dot phone, ACC dot industry. Have a preview. Account name, phone, industry. Right, boss? Similarly, I am creating. Input field. Last name. Contact dot first name, last name, phone, email. This is how we refer, right? So we used to give standard controller. If we give a standard controller, how many objects I can refer? One object. But now I am able to refer how many objects? Multiple, because it's a custom. Right? Create account ACC, then ACC dot name, phone, industry, contact. Now it's your choice whether you want to go with input field or input text. I have taken an input field. You want to go with the input text, you can take it. I have taken output text. If you want to give a output field, you can take it. So what I am doing? Creating an Apex class with instance of a Sobjects. Right. So whatever the table I want to refer, create a object for the table. The object dot field name. Object dot field name. Are you clear? Are you clear about it? People followed. Anyone has any query on this? Clear, Amma? Followed or not, boss? People are very quiet, boss.
Satish,
Yes. Wait.
we can call.
Wait for a minute. Now, create Apex class. Create an Apex class with opportunity and a lead, and create them like input text in the VF page. Create a Apex class Create an Apex class. Apex class with opportunity and a lead as data members. Create a constructor, assign the memory, create them, create an Apex class with opportunity lead as data member. In the lead, what are the members we have? In the lead, we will be having last name, first name, company. Last name, first name, company, phone. Last name, first name, company, phone. Last name, first name, company, phone. Create a Apex class with opportunity and lead. So how do you create them? Refer to this class and create opportunity and lead. Did I ask you to assign any value? I didn't ask you to assign a value. I simply asked you to assign memory. Assign the memory, take the value from VF page. Now, referring to this class, create a class now. Create a class, create a VF page. Everyone start creating the class first. Yes, online, what is your query?
The same way we can use custom objects, right?
Obviously, yes. Subject means anything,
The
no?
custom.
A subject means it can be a standard or a custom. Okay. I told a subject stands for
Satish,
yes.
is there anything it is class name is dependent on the object label name?
Object name.
If the label name
It has nothing to do with the label name, exact name of the class.
there is no effect in case if I change the label name.
No. No. So how did you create? Yes, ma.
While creating an object, why you have not written an account ACC equal to new account?
Now, this I have to give a set and get. And you are not writing a logic, you are initializing the variables. You are not writing a logic, you are initializing the variables. Okay. So what was the example I have taken? So what I asked you to do? Public opportunity. Why I am giving set and get? I want to use in the VF page. Somebody has asked me earlier. Now I am taking public account ACC. Now I am not using account in the VF page, so I am not given set and get. If you want to use this variable in the VF page, then only set and get is required. It is not necessary that every variable should have. But whatever the variables you have taken till today in the programming, everything we displayed. That is the reason every variable has set and get. But in this context, basically what? Any variable you want to use in the VF, only those variables will have set and get. Others did not. Okay. Opt equal to new opportunity. What we have done? We have initialized the, this is declaring the variable. We have declared the variable, we have initialized the variable. Now what we are supposed to do? We are getting this error here. Value equal to this is how we created. Similarly, we are creating opportunity. Give title equal to put field. So this is how we have given last name, first name, phone, email. Sorry, this should be what? I hope you are good with this, right? So what we are trying to do, we are trying to create an instance of a subject, and we are trying to refer in the VF page. You want to take the value from the VF page, or you want to set the value. Now you can write a program, assign the values in the Apex class, display them in the VF page, or we can take the values from there. Now there are two types of variables what we are going to have. One is a primitive variable, another one is a reference variable. Primitive variables are what? Any variable created with a data type called primitive data types. Any variable created with the data type, primitive data type, they are called primitive variables. What are they? Integer, long, decimal, blob, boolean, date, datetime, time, id, string, object. These are what? Primitive data types. Apart from this, any other data type you create, it is a reference variable. Reference means they will not contain the data, they will refer to the location where data is there. First, we have to allocate a memory. In that memory, we are supposed to assign the value. Look at this. If I want to use this, what I have done? First, assign the memory. New, assign the memory. In that memory, you put your data. Primitive variables are what? Straight away, we are giving the data. Primitive variables will straight away hold the data. Reference variables will hold the reference to the location where data is there. It will contain reference to the location where data is available. It will contain reference to the location where data is available. I hope you are clear. People are good with this. Followed, boss. Any queries on today's session? Clear? Clear for everyone? That's all from my end. We'll continue tomorrow.